I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. In the book of Leviticus, God lists clean and unclean animals that are fit and unfit for consumption. Why distinguish the two? Is it a way of testing the Israelites' faith and obedience? So let me answer this question by going back into Exodus, then we'll come fast forward into Leviticus. In Exodus chapter 25, God gives the instructions for the building of the tabernacle. And he makes it very clear, only certain animal skins were to be used and only certain colors were to be implemented in the building of the process, much less the dimensions, etc. You say, well, why is that important? Because God gave the instructions on size and scope, not because he needed the building to be a certain size. He needed his people, the Israelites, to walk in obedience in the small things so that they wouldn't miss the, quote, bigger picture. When it comes to the book of Leviticus and the dietary laws of clean versus unclean, on one level, there is an aspect of God was protecting them from certain diseases and such that obviously they wouldn't be aware of, because when you deal with the bottom dwellers of the ocean, at times the consumption is not necessarily the best for our health. But I really think the more important lesson is this, that the reason God divided these certain animals into sections was so that humanity, the Israelites in this case, would again trust God by faith that he knew what he was talking about. And in the little things, again, at the end, they would get the, quote, bigger picture. Allow me to close this question with somewhat of a strange but yet very apropos illustration. If you've ever had the opportunity, as I have, to host a concert or a special quote-unquote speaker at a church, you know that all of these individuals have what we call riders. These are instructions in advance of what kind of speaker system they'll need, et cetera, et cetera. Well, in most of these, if not all of these riders, there are some really odd requests that these, quote, artists make. I've had artists in the past make a request of 8 different types of hummus. I've had artists request a certain amount of a color of an M&M in the, quote, green room. And you look at that and you say, well, aren't these people narcissistic? Aren't they arrogant? No. These are individuals who spend their entire life on a tour bus. And when they arrive to a new destination, there are just a few hours to make sure that everything is prepared properly for whatever's going to take place that evening. And one of the things that I've discovered over time getting to know these artists is the reason they put these really odd parameters is if they show up and there are 8 different flavors of hummus, just as they ask, then they're not going to be worried about the lighting and the sound, the building, etc. Because when we pay attention to the small details, it means that we also understand the big picture. So the measurements of the tabernacle, clean versus unclean, I think a whole lot of that was God saying, if you'll pay attention to these details, then you understand the covenant that I'm implementing with you. Great question. If you have one, send it to askjeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at askjeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.